The air hung heavy and cold. It reeked of sweat, fear, and something faintly metallic. The only light flickered from a single lantern, casting dancing shadows on the ragged canvas walls.
Low chuckle. Soon the laughter will begin again.
He sat before a cracked and dusty mirror, his reflection a grotesque caricature of joy. His eyes, ringed with black coal, glinted with an unsettling light. A slow, cruel smile spread across his white-painted face. He picked up a small, ornate box. It was made of dark wood, and strange symbols were etched into its surface. His gloved fingers traced the symbols, a look of grim satisfaction on his face. He opened the box. Inside lay a single blood-red jewel. It pulsed with an inner light, casting a sinister glow on his face. He dipped a delicate brush into the jewel's crimson heart. The brush emerged, dripping with a viscous liquid that shimmered like fresh blood. He brought the brush to his lips, carefully outlining his smile with the glowing paint.
Low chuckle. Soon the laughter will begin again.
A low chuckle rumbled from his chest, echoing through the empty tent. The carnival arrived with the fanfare of trumpets and the pounding of drums. Brightly colored flags fluttered in the breeze, and the aroma of popcorn and candy floss filled the air. For the small town of Hollow Creek, it was a welcome distraction from the mundane.
Come on, Slowpoke. Let's try the Tunnel of Love.
Dry tone. Very funny. How about the Ferris wheel instead? At least we can get a decent view from there.
Lila and Jake raced through the bustling fairground, their laughter echoing amongst the excited squeals of children. Lila, ever the adventurer, was captivated by the mystery and allure of the carnival. Jake, a pragmatist at heart, remained skeptical, his eyes scanning for any hint of trickery.
Okay, but after that, we're going on the Tunnel of Love.
Lila shrugged, her attention already drawn to a nearby tent with a faded sign that read, "Mirror Maze, find yourself or lose yourself forever." A shiver ran down her spine, a mixture of fear and excitement. As they strolled through the fairground, Lila noticed something strange. The joyous atmosphere seemed forced, a thin veil over an underlying unease. The music, though upbeat, had a discordant note that set her teeth on edge. The laughter of the children seemed strained, their smiles a little too wide, a little too desperate.
Did you hear that?
She felt a cold shiver crawl up her spine as a gust of wind blew past, carrying with it whispers that seemed to vanish as quickly as they appeared. It was as if the very air held its breath, anticipating something sinister. Jake, preoccupied with trying to win a stuffed animal for Lila at a shooting game, simply grunted in response. Lila shook her head, attributing her unease to an overactive imagination. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. Something wasn't right. They reached the entrance to the mirror maze. The air here felt heavier, colder, as if a shadow had fallen over the entrance. Lila hesitated, a knot of apprehension forming in her stomach. But Jake, mistaking her hesitation for fear, gently took her hand.
Don't worry, it's just mirrors. What could go wrong?
The air inside the mirror maze was heavy and still, thick with the smell of dust and decay. The mirrors, once bright and sparkling, were now clouded and tarnished, reflecting distorted images that shifted and danced in the flickering lamplight. Lila and Jake wandered through the labyrinthine corridors, their laughter echoing eerily in the stillness.
This place is creepy. Let's get out of here.
But it was too late. They had reached a particularly complex section of the maze, where every turn seemed to lead to another dead end. The air grew colder, and the reflections in the mirrors became increasingly grotesque. Lila swore she saw fleeting glimpses of a sinister figure lurking at the edge of her vision, a tall, shadowy figure with a painted smile that seemed to mock her fear.
Jake?
There was no answer. Panic welled up inside her.
Jake, where are you?
She spun around, her heart pounding in her chest. The reflections in the mirrors swirled and twisted, offering no clues to Jake's whereabouts. He was gone, and in his place stood the figure from her nightmares, its painted smile stretched into a grotesque grin. Lila stumbled back in terror, her hand flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. The figure stepped forward, its shadow stretching out towards her like a grasping hand. Just when she thought all hope was lost, a hand reached out from behind the figure and pulled it back into the shadows.
Mr. Grayson?
Lila's eyes widened in disbelief as Mr. Grayson, the jovial owner of the carnival, emerged from the darkness. Gone was his friendly demeanor, replaced by a look of grim determination. In his hand, he held a small, ornate box made of dark wood. It was the same box she had seen in her nightmare.
You should not be here, child. This place is dangerous, especially that maze.
Lila, still shaken but regaining her composure, straightened her shoulders.
Where's Jake? What have you done with him?
Mr. Grayson sighed, his gaze distant.
He is trapped by Harlequin.
He explained the dark history of the carnival and the malevolent entity that was bound to it. A jester cursed to steal souls to sustain his immortality. Mr. Grayson led Lila out of the maze, the ornate box clutched tightly in his hand. He explained that the box held the key to banishing Harlequin, even if only temporarily. He needed her help. Lila, though terrified, knew she had no choice. She had to save Jake. They made their way to the center of the fairground, where a makeshift stage had been erected. It was here, Mr. Grayson explained, that Harlequin's power was strongest. It was also where they had the best chance of confronting him. As they approached the stage, the temperature plummeted. The air grew thick with a suffocating dread, and the laughter of the carnival goers morphed into a cacophony of screams and whispers. And then he appeared, Harlequin. He stood on the stage, bathed in the eerie glow of the moon, his painted smile stretched into a grotesque grin. His eyes, two black pits in his white face, locked onto Lila, and she felt a chill run down her spine.
Welcome, the show is about to begin.
Lila felt a surge of defiance rise within her. She would not be another victim. She would save Jake and break Harlequin's hold on the carnival. Mr. Grayson, chanting words in a language Lila didn't understand, approached Harlequin cautiously. He held up the ornate box, and a beam of crimson light shot out, engulfing Harlequin in its fiery embrace. Harlequin roared in anger, his voice a terrifying blend of fury and despair. He thrashed against the light, but it held him fast, slowly dragging him back towards the mirror from which he had emerged. Lila watched in awe and terror as Harlequin struggled in vain. The light intensified, and with a final ear-splitting shriek, Harlequin was sucked back into the mirror. The mirror shattered, its shards dissolving into dust before they even hit the ground. The carnival was silent. The air, once thick with dread, was now clear and light. Lila rushed to the spot where Jake had vanished. To her immense relief, he was there, dazed but unharmed.
Jake, are you okay?
I think so. What happened?
He had no memory of the encounter, but he could feel the lingering chill of the mirror maze. The following morning, the carnival packed up and left Hollow Creek as quickly as it had arrived. Lila and Jake watched from a distance, a mixture of relief and unease washing over them. The ordeal with Harlequin had shaken them both to their core. As they turned to leave, Lila noticed something lying on the ground where the carnival had been. It was a single blood-red jewel, pulsing faintly in the morning light. It was all that remained of Harlequin. Lila shuddered, a cold dread creeping up her spine. She knew deep down that this wasn't over. The curse, though broken for now, was far from vanquished. Harlequin would return, and the show she feared would go on.